All right, this is JB with Going Wild. Right now, we're going over how to pack a pack. Once again, just getting over being sick. Still probably am positive, but taking advantage of this self-quarantining, figure I might as well do some of these I had in my mind. So one of the things I want to go over is how to properly pack a field pack. A lot of people I see, not only in the bushcraft community, but amateur backpackers, they don't really pack their pack the way that would be most beneficial to them. ABCs of packing your pack: A, accessible; B, balance; C, compact. Another thing I would add is put things in the same spot every time. I'll put my headlamp in the same spot up in the lid of or the brain of the pack. I've heard it called different things, or the top compartment. That way I know where it's at, even in the dark. I can find it. I put things the same spot every time, so I know exactly where they are, even if I not able to see. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is get our pack. Moving in towards winter time, so this is my 105 liter. This is an Osprey. I like Osprey a lot. Used to have a pro deal with them in the wilderness industry. We used to get pro deals with different companies. And I've got different packs. I've got lots of different ones. My favorite one ever was probably a Gregory, but Gregories are so expensive nowadays. I'd hate to take it out in the woods and trash it. But Gregory, you're looking at $500. This Osprey, $200. You can get military surplus, military issue. Sometimes cheaper, you can get an old Alice pack. But one thing you remember about military issue, it might save you some money, but in the military, you always remember your equipment's made by the lowest bidder. Not only that, but it's not made for comfort. They don't really care much about comfort, but they do like durability, so I like that. All right, first thing we're gonna load into like I said, I've used a lot of different packs. Keep finding myself coming back to Osprey. Okay, first thing we're gonna grab is our sleeping bag. Okay, you notice I have 2 contractor bags here, at least 3 mil thickness. A lot of people say 6, but 6 isn't really necessary. But as a general rule, the louder, the more noise it makes, the more waterproof it is. 6 mil is a lot thicker, but for packing a backpack, 3 is just fine. Not only that, in cold weather situations, a trash bag can save your life. This is a down sleeping bag. If you know it's not going to be very wet out, a down is good. My standard go-to is for rainy weather, is a military issue modular sleep system with a bivy bag. So I'm going to roll up get all the air out of my pack, my bag here, just roll that up. Before I do that, I'm going to roll up my inflatable mat. I like to carry these on the inside so they don't get punctures from sticks and things like that. Not only that, but if you find yourself going to fall, just sit down and you'll land on your pad or your sleeping bag. And these packs, most packs have a divider for the sleeping bag. I just like one big compartment. More of a rucksack, I guess it's called. And the sleeping bag goes on the very bottom, because generally that's the last thing you need every day. Another thing, before you pack your pack, make sure you go through and loosen and undo all the straps, so you're working with all the material you need. And there's 2 thoughts. One is use compression bags, but honestly, I look at the whole pack as one big compression bag. So then I wrap my sleeping bag separate. That way I can pull it out separate if need be. Until this bag's a little thicker. And shove this in there for my main. Okay, in here, I'm gonna put all my food or my clothing and food on top. So I'm gonna start with my clothing, fleeces, all my different layerings here. We went through. Just kind of cram it in. I like the cram method because it takes up all the little nooks and crannies. Fills up all the space so you don't have trapped air in there. Pants. I like to have one pair of pants for camp, one pair of pants for hiking. And sleeping, you make base layers. The next day, put on your wet pants. Even if it's pouring rain, take off your wet clothes when you get to camp, hang them up under your tarp. Put on your camp clothes, wear those around camp. Next day when you wake up, before you hit the trail, put on your wet clothes. It hurts for a minute, but it's better than having 2 pairs of wet clothing. And even in the summer, the sweat makes them wet. I'll get the rest of my layers here. Shove these in this side there. Okay, once I have that done, see what I'm getting on time. I think there's a time limit of 30 minutes. Nice, 7 minutes. Okay. Once you get all my clothing in there, I'm take this. If I'm going canoeing or anything like that, I can poke a hole there, blow some air in there, make it float. If not, I'm not gonna worry about it. Just gonna twist it. You can rubber band it, but honestly, I just kind of usually tuck it. Now on top of here is where you carry your bag of food, things like that. Pack that right on top, any kind of gear. I'll take my tent. And here's a tent, teepee tent. Taking the poles out and the stakes. Stakes go in the lid or the brain of the pack. Poles I'll carry on the outside. The actual tarp material, there's nothing in here but tarp. And we'll carry on the inside. Right on top, right with the food and things like that. My stove and things like that, I would carry up here also. My fuel for my stove, do not carry inside your pack. I'll put those in the outside pocket. That way, if you do have any leaks in the fuel, it does not contaminate the food or get on your clothing or tent materials. Because certain fuels can actually melt your gear. Here's my middle pole. I'm gonna stick that on the outside. Rain gear, put that where you can get to it quick. The strap I'm carrying, I'm going to carry the lightweight, so I'm going to put that in the outside pocket. Above that, I'm going to put a poncho, great as a secondary rain gear or tarp to put over your tent. One tarp might make you keep the water off of you, but 2 tarps will definitely keep you drier. I've got my space blanket, i.e. casualty blanket, i.e. also called a Mylar thermal blanket. I always carry one of those. Makes a great ground cloth. Keeps you nice and warm. Great for emergencies. I'll put that where I can get to it too. Very quickly. Probably up right here underneath the lid or the brain. I have here some climbing webbing and a shovel. This is a Russian shovel. It's lighter than the E-tool, military issue E-tool. It's quite a bit lighter. And it has all the black paint, so you can actually cook on top of this. I'll stick this right in the back here. Or on the side. Let me show you on the side. You can do it on the side, right under the poles, right here. See that? It fits right in there. And lift up the pack so you can see. Open this back up, put my Mylar blanket inside there. So that Mylar blanket helps with conduction as far as like methods of heat loss. Frame or the lid, the top. Dump that in. Then I'm just going to go around checking all my zippers and straps, making sure everything's clipped and tucked, tightened. And like I said, this whole bag is a compression bag if you use it right. Water bladders, I'll use a water bladder Camelback type, and I'll also have a couple of water canteens to go on the outside. I got one here that's already in the pack. You can see this is a metal Nalgene. Metal's good because you can heat them up. Stainless steel. Guess titanium would be lighter, but costs more. Always remember about your gear. If you use it a lot, you're going to have to replace it, more than likely. If I carry a foam rolled mat, I'll carry that on the outside here, usually at the bottom. All right, ABCs, accessible. I know where everything's at. Balance. Looks pretty balanced, compact. Okay, now we're gonna fit it up here in the brain with the lid. Got a couple of zippers here. See if you can see that. Got my 550 cord, things like that. Spare knife, tools, spare light. I'm gonna put this climbing webbing in here. Good to have, especially for bear hangs, things like that. We'll get into that another day. All right, how to fit the pack. Make sure I don't knock over the camera here. Loosen the shoulder straps, the waist straps, sternum strap, load lifter strap. 4 different ones. Take off my specs, my reading glasses so I don't break them. So the pack on your back, there's different ways to do it. To me, that's the easiest, even for a heavy pack. Okay, first thing I want to do, make sure everything's loose, not rattling too much. I'm gonna do my hip belt first. Put it right where it needs to be, right on top of the hips, right over the belly button. Military packs will do the kidney. They'll ride a lot higher so you can carry things on your waist belt. Civilian packs, don't really have to. Another thing I like about the Ospreys, if you notice, the waist belt, kind of pull that way and it tightens. Much easier to get a nice tight fit than pulling out. Okay, next, got sternum strap. They'll be going across the chest here. Do that number 2, second. Third, shoulder straps. As you straighten up, just kind of tighten those a little bit, not too tight. Last but not least, load compression. It's these right here, load lifters. That kind of keeps the pack up against your back. Say, here's your back, here's the pack. If they're loose, pack tends to want to come out like that. If they're tight, they want to come over you like that. So if you're walking downhill, You might want to loosen them. So as you're walking up, the pack's vertical. As you're slumped over a little bit, the goal is to keep the pack straight up and down. As you're hiking down, well, as you're hiking up, you might want to tighten them. As you're hiking down, you might want to loosen them. As you're on flat ground, keep them medium. So here, we're going to keep it nice and medium, just about finger tight. Just grab with the finger, thumb and the index finger, pull fairly snug. That's all you need. You don't have to crank down on those. All right, you see, I can cover 10 to 20 miles in a day, sometimes 15 average. Hiking sun up to sun down. Good to go. This is JB with Going Wild, reminding you to like, subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Also, leave some comments if you want to see different things that I do. If I've got experience with it, I'll do one on it. And can get my spectacles so I can see here. Getting old is not for the young or the weak. 16 minutes, so I got a few more minutes. Like I said, nice and compact. You can see it a little better now. The fuel, the stove I would carry inside the pack, and pot and things like that, which got it here. I just made some tea. Kind of quarantined from the house right now. The fuel, I'd keep in a canister inside here. Water, I have my water bottle one, and then I'll have my Camelback so I can have it accessible as I'm on the move. That way I don't have to stop and get water every time I want to take a drink. You see how the Osprey kind of conforms to your back. It's very nice. Highly recommend Osprey. So this is JB with Going Wild. Don't forget to get outside and go wild.